Imagine you wake up one morning, you get up, take a shower, drink your morning cup of coffee, get dressed, and go to work. Sounds like a typical morning for most of us, right? Now imagine the very next morning, you wake up, take a shower, drink a cup of coffee, get dressed, and go to work. Except this time, now you're considered a criminal and in violation of the law. Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking, what is this girl talking about? How can you go to bed and then wake up the next morning and now be considered a criminal and in violation of the law? Let me tell you how. Many people who migrate to the US on a visa have an expiration date on that visa. That means they are considered to be here legally until that expiration date. So if that person decides to stay here longer than allowed, they are now in violation of the law and in this country illegally. So now, why do they not just renew it so they can be here legal once again? If only it were that easy. According to President Donald Trump, he wants immigrants here in the US, but only if they do so legally. Okay, so let's talk about how you can come here legally. First, you begin by applying for a green card. You fill out the many forms, pay all the fees, then submit the documents. Now you wait. And in most cases, you continue to wait. Some people reported waiting over 22 years for a green card. That's over 2 decades of waiting. About 1 million green cards are issued each year, but many have limitations. There are a few different ways to obtain a green card or visa. One way is a family based visa, which allows family members from US citizens, which includes spouses, children, parents, or siblings, to come here legally. The only problem with this is there are yearly caps for how many people are allowed. The US immigration accepts 1,000 family based green cards a year. So if you apply and you are the 1,005th person, then you must wait until the next year for consideration, and so on and so on. Another way to come here legally is to have an employer sponsor you. To qualify for this type of green card, you must have an eligible employer lined up and also have a higher level of education and some professional experience under your belt. Also, you can file for refugee or asylum. Refugees, too, have a limitation on how many spots are available. Here, you must be screened by multiple international and US agencies and prove you have a well founded fear of prosecution from your country of origin. Filing for asylum means you're here in the US already now and need to go back to your country, but have a fear of returning due to worrying about being killed or punished for leaving. It seems like after knowing someone is in fear for their life, we would have to let them stay here in the US, right? Wrong. Unless you have money, chances are authorities don't care and will deport you back. Here's a story about a woman named Maria. She followed all the rules when it came to getting a green card. She got an immigration visa and became a citizen by her husband. Now, Maria was worried about her sister who she left in El Salvador. So she got her travel visa so she could get away from all the violence and civil war happening. Since travel visas are only temporary, she then wanted to get a green card so her sister could stay here legally. According to Maria, that process took 16 years, and Maria said she only believes that happened to being middle class. If they were poor, they would have never been able to obtain that green card. It's no wonder many immigrants come here illegally. The process it takes to actually come here legally is extremely long and extensive, and if you come from poverty, good luck trying to do it. Tens of thousands who are caught trying to enter the US illegally and then seek asylum hardly ever get granted access unless they have money to do so. If there was no fear of staying in their home countries, then why would many migrants risk their lives on the journey here to the US? These migrants are in risk of dying from dehydration, starvation, being lost, or even assaulted by gangs. Why would they risk their lives trying to come here if there was not a real risk staying in their home countries? They do it to live a life where they no longer have to be in fear and to better the life of their future. Maybe if President Donald Trump did something about how long the process takes to come to America legally, then maybe more immigrants would do it and not risk their lives coming here illegally or staying after their temporary visas have expired. Currently, 60% of the unauthorized population have been here in the US for at least a decade. That means these people's visas expired and they just never left. They stayed because they started a life for themselves, have a job, and a family to attend to. Now, picture this: you wake up one morning, you drink a cup of coffee, take a shower, get dressed, and go to work. But now you're considered in violation of the law and a criminal. These are those people.